Welcome everyone to Zandvoort Circuit. It is time to go racing in the Slipstream Esports Championship once again as we continue our journey to crown our tournament winner. Of course, 3 tournament winners by the time we reach the season finale at Spa. But for now, it is very much game on here at Zandvoort. We've had 3 races that have been ticked off. We brought you round 1 at Spain. We brought you race 1 of round 2 at Paul Ricard. We had another race which was on the Saturday last week. So there's been a race in between that we didn't actually bring to your screens. We'll bring you, of course, a full up-to-date... Well, we'll bring you up-to-date completely on that. Just so you are aware of what happened and how the championship looks. And we've just got over 10 minutes of qualifying here to go. Once we're done with Zandvoort here, it's a... only one race, so it's a single header as well. But then we'll have a double header at Spa. The penultimate race, race number 5 of our season, will be run on Thursday. We will not be bringing you that live, but we will be bringing you on Friday. So at this time next week, we'll be bringing you the final race of the season at Spa to see who will be crowned our winner. And as I said, we have got 3 different classes that need a winner to be crowned, and that's exactly what we will be doing across the next week or so. But what an absolutely fantastic race it was last time out. Shadman Sabik winning the 3rd contest of our season, and was able to pull away by a few seconds by the time the checkered flag came out. There was quite a bit of contact involved actually at the start of the race in that contest, and there was a lot that definitely very much shaped things in a way the drivers possibly wouldn't have wanted. How it leaves the championship in terms of the pro standings, Tamjid bin Sultan leads the way, 49 points next to his name, 41.5 points for Shadman Sabik in P2. So those are very much your 2 championship contenders. And then Abdullah Ayaz, great and a really strong round for him, able to pick up 25.5 points from that second round. And it was really exciting to see. And it was really exciting to see how it was really exciting and interesting to see how the order all very much played out. But that's how the championship standings look in terms of the pro class. Omar in P5 when it came to those championship standings. And then over in the Pro-Am, it is Nasser leading with 49 points, but Zubair Zaman on 47.5. Sayem Rahman is on 43.5. So some very close margins. And then also at the front in the Am class, we've got Tanzila Mabab, who is on 55.5, and Sanjay Junaid on 52. So, very much the summary of all of the numbers that I've just given you, and in terms of all of the championship standings and how they look. To summarise it, it is close. It is close, and that's realistically the only thing I really need to tell you. We'll keep you up to date with the championship standings across today. And of course, we'll focus on the battles as they unfold. So, Shadman Sabik, of course, is the driver trying to chase down Tamjid bin Sultan. Sultan is right now P1 in the order. And then second place is Abir Ahmad, and then it is Ishraq Rahman, and then we get to Shadman Sabik. So Shadman Sabik has got to improve a couple of positions to at least get alongside his rival for the title in the pro class. So that's how that battle looks. We've only got 17 drivers in across today's action, a little bit less compared to what we've seen in the previous races, but it's 16 drivers. The list has just decreased even further, but it's 16 drivers who are all going to look to absolutely provide fantastic racing and action, and that's the most important thing. It is always an interesting fight, and the run down towards turn number 1 is going to be really fascinating. Of course, they will be in a 2x2 formation, rolling start, kind of how IndyCar does it. For any of the viewers who've watched the racing over there, same with the World Endurance Championship as well. So it very much leads to varying reaction times, I think it is fair to say, and it definitely can lead to cars being all over the place by the time they hit the first turn. Of course, here at Zandvoort, it's not the longest run down there compared to what we've had so far. Like, for example, where we started our campaign, Barcelona. What a long run down to the first turn, and a first turn which led to contact. Paul Ricard also had a lot of, had a decent run for things to play out. With Zandvoort, of course, you have a long banking that brings an end to the lap. You've just seen the drivers go through it now, but when they get the green light, there's not a lot until they're actually at the first turn. And I think it's also important to mention that the circuit is a bit more tighter than possibly some of the circuits that we've been to, the two that we've gone to earlier. So it basically can mean that very much there can be a reduced amount of space on an opening lap. And I mean on all laps. So you've got to be careful in terms of where you're going to place the car. But the opening lap can be such an important part of the race to try and get positions gained. Okay, as we go into a quiet moment in qualifying, as we wait for the fast flying hot laps that are going to come later on, for the moment, let me show you and run you through what I was talking about earlier on. So Tamjid bin Sultan is P1 in the championship standings. He is on 49 points. Shadman Tabiq is his rival for the title in the pro class and is on 41.5. Abdul Ayaz is P3. And then it is Zohaib Hussein. Omar is P5. They've had some really great pace this season, but they've not been able to materialize it completely across all of the rounds, which is why they find themselves in P5. Abir Ahmad in P6, and then it is Zayan Intaz. Ishraq Rahman has also been somewhere around the top 10, realistically, across the event so far, and right now they're in 8th. And then it is Shafrin Qureis, who is 9th, and that is your standings in the pro class. In terms of Pro-Am, well, it is Marash Nasser on 49. And this is where it gets really close. Zubair Zaman is on 47.5. Of course, we've got to count the 47.5. Some drivers are with the half point. So, you know, the championship quite literally could be won by half a point. Who knows at this point? But it is, yes. Nasser P1. Zaman 2nd, and then Sayem Rahman is in 3rd. They can also be considered, I think, a driver who can fight for the title. So it is realistically a 3-horse race, and if anyone is to join the party, they've got to try and perform very quickly. The rest of the order is Sombit Jawan, Ali Arman, and then Meshfiq Yasser, Nur Nabi Nirad, and then Mahir Ahmad and Rahman, that is Ashfika, in P9. And those are the drivers in your Pro-Am class. And finally, journeying our way right to the final class, the AM class, where it is also very close. Mabab and Junaid have only 3.5 points separating them, and they are 1st and 2nd. And then it is Muhammad Rahman in 3rd, and it is Sarora Hussein, who is 4th with 0 points so far across the opening 2 rounds. And with that, we'll take you back to live pictures, and we'll take you to Abir Ahmad fighting away with the car as they sent it through the final few corners here at Circuit Zandvoort. As they come over the line and make their way into the braking zone of turn number 1. Long corner, long radius corner, which sends you in through turn 2, and then turn 3. Long banking. Of course, we have seen, you know, in some of the real life racing, the inside line, the outer line, they've all been attempted. Which line do the drivers go for? Do they go high? Do they go low? That's a term that I'm sure a lot of oval racing fans will probably be aware of, especially if you watch NASCAR specifically, and also when IndyCar do ovals as well. There's very much common phrases there. And of course, we're used to our road courses, but we occasionally do have some links to it at a circuit like this, where you've got a banked final corner, you've got a banked turn number 3, and it just means that there is so much to look forward to, and it's so much than just a circuit. You know, there is some circuits which the corners and the challenge does its talking. Zandvoort uses its elevation as one of the things that drags it up and makes it a fun place. because you want a circuit to feel like a roller coaster. And in some cases, Zandvoort can be described as one. Out the final corner. Oh, into the wall. Abir Ahmad pushing on and finding the wall right at the end of the lap. Let's focus though on Ishraq Rahman in 6th position. What will they be able to do? 1 minute remains on the clock. So we are into the important phase. It's an improvement of time, but not of position for Ishraq Rahman. So they are 6th in the order. Can anyone find a step forward? The top 3 are in the pit lane. Does Omar have anything to say? The driver who currently has a 1 minute 36.175. Can they do something to disrupt the 3 that are ahead? We're still focusing on Ishraq Rahman. Zayan Intaz, by the way, is in the pit lane and done, with 30 seconds to go as well. So who is going to have an impact? Who is going to have something to say? Lots of the drivers do appear to be done. Abdullah Ayaz is in the pits. You have Zubair Zaman in the pit. You have Sayyid Rahman in the pit. And as you can see now, checkered flag coming on lots of drivers' names. So the checkered flag is flying at the end of qualifying. And who is going to be where? There's only a few drivers left who can change and disrupt the order. We've got a top 3. It is Sultan Ahmed Sabiq. Unless Ishraq Rahman or Uzayya Omar are finding anything, the order does not look like it's going to change near the front. But let's see whether they can find anything. Ishraq Rahman pushing on now through the 2nd and 3rd sector. And Omar's taken the checkered flag. They are P4 and they are done. Let's focus on Ishraq Rahman. Can they try and improve? They've been flirting with the grass for so much of the lap. And over the line, they are P6. And yeah, they dipped the tyre into the grass on so many occasions. And it's 6th by the time they get to the flag. Nothing can change the order. Omar couldn't find anything either. So the lap was done early, but the lap was enough to give Sultan pole position here at Circuit Zandvoort for our 4th race of the year. What a qualifying it was. And now all eyes go to the race. The race which will take place at the circuit in your picture at the moment. You are taking a look at the bumpy ride that is Zandvoort. And you can really see the banking at the final part of the lap through this angle. It really shows you how high up everything goes. It's going to be interesting to see what the drivers can produce out of today. So much to look forward to. So much intrigue. And it is time to get a bit of an answer as to who is looking good and who possibly may have a bit too much work to do in the final 2 rounds. I mean, when we brought you over to the league and introduced you to it, this competition and this tournament in Spain, round 1, it wasn't that long ago, was it? It was only, quite literally, 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, at this time I was speaking to you about how the races, they are very much done in 4 weeks. In 4 weeks, we get through 6 of these races. It has rapidly gone through. I mean, you know, you have long campaigns. Like, for example, Formula 1, they've got 24 Grand Prix planned this year. And, you know, sometimes you're at the start of the year and somehow you end up at the end. That's across 24 Grand Prix and also lots of breaks in between. But no, we've had 4 weeks and it is all very much ongoing. Let's quickly run you through the grid, though. It is Tamjid bin Sultan who is on pole position. Abir Ahmad is alongside in 2nd place in the BMW. Shadman Sadiq also with that manufacturer is in 3rd, and then it is Uzayya Omar who is in P4. Zayan Intaz is P5, and then it is Ishraq Rahman, who finds themselves in 6th, and then it is Sombit Duran and Abdullah Ayaz next up in the order, 7th and 8th. Tamim Nasser is 9th, and then it is Sayam Rahman in 10th position. Ali Arman is 11th, and then it is Ashfika Rahman in 12th. Nabi Niraj is 13th, and Tanzila Mahbub is 14th, and then Mohammed Rahman is 15th, and then Zubayr Zaman is the final car who will be in position, all set and raring to go in this race. Take a look at the driver who starts in 2nd. We're making our way through the middle sector at the moment, and they'll all get in formation. But yes, going back to the point, we started off this tournament where I told you there is not long. There is only 6 races. Every single round counts. You mess up one of them, and the other driver who's been consistent across all 6 will just win. They may not even have the best outright result, but they will win. It's as simple as that. You've had to be consistent. You've still got close margins at the front in all 3 classes, and it means that this is a pivotal contest. Only 2 more races to go after this, and that is both at Spa, and that'll be in a week's time. It is very much game on, and it is very much a push all the way to the end of the season. Let's back up and get in position. Abir Ahmad just needs to get a little bit more alongside of Tamjid bin Sultan. But now they are all lined up. They will go into 2x2. And for the 4th time this season, we are all set and ready to race as they make their way out of the banking here at Circuit Zandvoort. Who is going to emerge victorious? Are we going to see a battle all the way till the end? Are they all going to survive Tarzan Corner? Well, the answer to all of those questions are about to come your way in a few moments' time. A pivotal contest in terms of who is going to win in all 3 classes this season. It is very much a deciding round. Let's see who's going to come out on top. We are underway and racing at Zandvoort as we head down to Tarzan Corner, and Brave around the outside trying to take the lead, and getting there is Abir Ahmad, but alongside and fighting back is going to be Sultan. The top 2 wheel to wheel, very close margins through the opening couple of corners, and the top 2 are still going for it as they now approach the banked corner. And who's going to get there? They've already been banging door to door, and it is Abir Ahmad who gets rewarded for his bravery down at Tarzan. A few corners on, he takes the lead and he gets past Sultan, our pole setter, down to 2nd place. Shadman Sadiq was also late on the brakes on the opening tour, and now the top 2 in the Pro Am Championship, very, very close. Further back in the Pro Championship, they're even closer because they're 2nd and 3rd in the road. What a brilliant start to the race it was. All action stuff. All action start there, and it is still super tight. Look at this, the leaders. So Sultan is put right together at the moment with Shadman Sadiq, and that is 1st and 2nd in the Pro Championship. Very tight. The top 3, in fact, are all glued together. We've had opening laps where they've gone 2 wide, where they've gone 3 wide for the lead, and it's ended in contact. Not this time around. It was instead a brilliant wheel-to-wheel scrap and a brilliant wheel-to-wheel battle between them. And that was really, really fantastic to watch and see. As we get going and come over the line once again, Abir Ahmad leads us down into Tarzan. That is the opening lap complete. 43 minutes of racing still remains and to go. As they rotate their way by, Abdullah Ayaz, P6. He's got a gap of only 3 turns ahead to Ishraq Rahman, so can they try and apply some pressure? They go for the wide outside line. That's where they've positioned the car, hoping to get a bit of the cutback. Different racing lines then meet in the middle, and it's a run through the twisty turns of turn 5, and then turn number 6 and turn 7 comes your way as you go downhill. Not a full, of course, braking zone. You're kind of lifting, coasting through the corner, just getting it slowed down enough. So it can very much be a bit of a different approach. We're not getting what we've seen in other races so far this season, at occasions where a leader has been able to run away. The field is still bunched and they're all together, meaning Abir Ahmad may have got the lead, but still has to look in his mirrors and still has to try and defend it. Big prizes on the line, and it's a perfect time to thank our trophy sponsor for this season, Vanquished Paradox Gaming. And I wonder who will be getting those trophies. It really could be anyone. You've had a few drivers who've put themselves in championship contention, and now across the next 3 races, including this one, they've got to prove why they will remain there. Some side-by-side action into the final corner. That is Tanzila Mabub losing out, and they find themselves dropping down. So that's not what the driver, who is, of course, the championship leader in the AM standings, wants one bit. Back to the front we go. And it is very much game on. Brilliant to hear the engine sounds as they roar their way by. Dropping down my order on my live timing, Zayan Intaz possibly has had a moment. So a possible issue momentarily. We will see what has happened with them, hopefully in a few moments' time, if we receive any information up here in the commentary box about it. But for the moment, we've not got anything. I don't know more than you at the moment, is what I'm trying to say. So, as we kick up the gravel and the grass and the dirt, which of course lies on top of it, as the drivers are really pushing on. But that's what happens when you've got such a tight circuit. They all just want to push on flat out. It's a hard circuit to keep it on the road, but I can definitely assure you in real life they can't really get away too much with what these drivers are able to do, and that is push it and run it very, very close together. Okay, this is the opening lap of the race, and this was Abir Ahmad and Sultan going for it in a wheel-to-wheel brawl. They got so close to contact, and they somehow made it work, with Abir Ahmad claiming the advantage and claiming the lead, and he's maintained it, but still has to do so for the remaining 39 minutes and 20 seconds that lie ahead on the clock. Looking further back down the order, Zubair Zaman is the driver who we're currently watching now. So our brilliant producer turns over the cameras and takes us to all the battling in the world, because there's so much of it. And we're going to go side by side. So that's Ali Arman on the outside line, coming under pressure from Zubair Zaman, and Ali Arman's going to be off the road into the grass, and that's a trip that they would not have wanted. With 38 minutes to go on the clock, and a bit of an excursion as they continue on. Right, let's take a look at Tamim Nasser. Now, of course, this is a driver leading the Pro-Am standings, and they are on the back of Sumbit Jawan, one of the drivers who they're battling with in that class. So same class this. So it is a relevant battle, and it is a high battle, and it is an important battle, is what I'm trying to say. The drivers rotating their way by on the start of this race. The first few laps is what you are currently seeing. If you're just joining us, we had a qualifying that was settled very much earlier on, with Sultan taking pole position. There wouldn't be many changes towards the end. The race start, however, had it all. A couple of corners of wheel-to-wheel action non-stop between the top two. They got so close to contact, but luckily, unlike earlier on this season at Barcelona, they avoided it. And it was Abir Ahmad who was very brave on the opening tour and he got his reward and was able to claim the lead, and he's been able to keep it so far. That is how the state of the race lies. That's been the main talking point in the main story so far, but I think we might be about to add a few chapters to that story, because look at how close it is. Sultan putting the pressure on Abir Ahmad as they come out of the final few corners, the banked corner, and here is the opportunity. Can Sultan get close enough into Tarzan corner? He'll be definitely tucked in the wheel tracks, but I don't think he's got the speed in the straight line, because the gap does not move about. In fact, it is Shadman Sadiq who has set the fastest lap of the race that time by. So if Sultan does not have the speed in a straight line, I wonder whether this is a move that he has to try and kind of force in the corners. It'll be interesting to see where he can, because as I said, it's a tight circuit. It's not one of those where you can just dive bomb and hope it works at a certain part of the circuit. You've got to be close. Also, we've got Audi versus BMW. Everyone in GT3 machinery. And this is a great leading two that are pulling away, along with Shadman Sadiq, from the rest of the field as they do battling. Good traction off the corner. Is this a chance? I thought it could have been. I really thought there was a chance there at that moment with Tamjid bin Sultan, but not quite. Not quite. They had good drive off the corner, in fact, but couldn't actually quite do anything with it, so they're still having to sit in behind. But this is great to watch, and great to see a three-car battle at the front. Shadman Sadiq and Tamjid bin Sultan are the two that are battling over the Pro Championship and the Pro class. This is the closest it's been, the gap coming onto this straight, but once again, Abir Ahmad is just able to extend his advantage, and I think Shadman Sadiq is going to have something to say about it. Now, on the opening lap, Abir Ahmad was brave on the outside of Tarzan. That's what kind of forced a chance for him, and then he made use of the chance a few meters on. Shadman Sadiq was also very brave on the opening lap, and was super late on the brakes, but couldn't quite do anything with it. That's another thing. He had some great braking prowess, but just didn't get rewarded in the same way. But keep an eye on him, because you can easily expect to see a dive bomb from Shadman Sadiq, is what I'm trying to say. He's been good on the brakes so far, so keep an eye on him. Keep an eye on him is what I'm trying to say now. And you can see he's already on the back of Tamjid bin Sultan, so Sultan having to look in the mirrors to some degree. And that's not what you want to be doing when you've got the leader ahead. Remember, this is the top two in the Pro Championship. Sultan versus Sadiq. This battle is very much going to be on. And Shadman Sadiq is the driver who needs to close in the gap. Abir Ahmad is very much an outsider in this championship battle. He's just trying to have his fun and try and improve his position in the standings. He's not a championship contender due to the, well, let's say results that weren't ideal in the opening two rounds. He got a decent amount of points, but, you know, not anything compared to Sultan or Abir Ahmad. So it's a complete different story. It's a complete different story. Is Shadman Sadiq going to be able to go in? Can he dive to the inside and try and make the move? It is very, very close between our top two in the class of the Pro Championship. And Shadman Sadiq is looming large in the mirrors, and is going to look to try and do something if Sultan does not make a move of his own. So, the way this is set right now, at the moment you can see Shadman Sadiq is flashing the headlights, saying, basically, get on with it, is what he's saying to his rival, and he's all over the back. It is super, super close as they go downhill through turn 7. But yes, to give you a bit of context involved in this, Abir Ahmad is not in the fight for the championship at the moment. He needs to have the greatest events of his life, and, you know, Sultan and Sadiq to have poor ones. He's trying to improve his position in the standings, yes, but right now at the moment he's just on course to win this race and, you know, be a driver who is in the middle of this, but, you know, is right now near the top. He's going to try and win this race. He's a bit more of the driver with nothing to lose. Sultan and Sabik have it all to lose. That's the difference. So it's a very interestingly set and poised race. Ashfika Rahman is behind Nabi Nirad. And also at the same time, it is only 0.2 of a second. It is only 0.2 of a second between Shadman Sabik and Sultan. It is 1/10 of a second. Here we go! Onto the grass. And that is the first form of defense that we have seen applied by Sultan. And Sabik is all over the back, and you can tell that this is going to be a battle full of tension, a battle full of fury, because this is all about the top two who are up against each other, going for it. Abir Ahmad is going to be loving life if these two start battling. They're going to be getting an open invitation to just pull away further and further and let everyone else battle in behind. But that was the first realistic opportunity. That is the first realistic chance that Shadman Sabik has had, and has had to force Sultan onto the defense. Sabik was on the grass though, well held luckily. Let's join some other battling live where it is just as close, where it is just as tight. And the drivers are absolutely delivering here at Zandvoort. We mentioned it's a tight circuit, but they're still being able to find room. They're being able to find gaps for overtakes. And this is absolutely fantastic to see. So, as Sabir Zaman gets on the power, the gap, by the way, is back to 0.3 of a second between first and second. Shadman Sabik is giving it his all. It's 0.2, and we cut over to it right as we head into the first turn. Just not close enough, is he? Just not close enough. And while there might not be a battle for the lead because Abir Ahmad is pulled away, I mean, in terms of the championship, this is the main battle. This is the battle in terms of the whole class. Of course, we always want to see a fight for the win in terms of a race. But right now, this is a battle in terms of the class. And if Shadman Sabik gets ahead, this could be big for him closing the gap heading into the final two races of the season. And look at how close Shadman Sabik is, pushing his rival through. Is there a room for an overtake? There doesn't appear to be one anywhere at this moment. This is fantastic to watch, fantastic to see, as they race their way by. As we go downhill with Sayam Rahman and Zayan Intaz. 0.3 of a second is the gap, is the margin. Let's see, are we going to get a dive bomb? Very nearly getting to that territory. It was a question of would they be able to get there, but them having a half look has given them a full look, have given them the position. And that is how the racing can sometimes work out. Four cars are not separated by anything. Heading backwards is going to be Zayan Intaz. Zubair Zaman gets out ahead. Intaz was very deep and was very nearly on the grass. Meanwhile, for second place, it is on. Very nearly. It's not on anymore. The gap's gone back to 1 second, so we'll continue following this battle for the moment. Zubair Zaman ahead of Nabi Nirad. Then dropping down is Zayan Intaz. Not a good couple of corners, and they've dropped 7 places from where they started the race. Over the line. "28 minutes to go." As there, Ashfika Rahman going slowly in the Porsche car, and through goes Sayam Rahman. So they improve a position. Just to bring you all up to date, by the way, Abir Ahmad has got a 1.1 second gap to Sultan. That's no longer a battle for the lead. That is very close. and Sultan versus Sadiq, the two title protagonists, are also separated by 1.3 seconds, so the gaps have formed slightly in the last few moments of racing around this Zandvoort circuit. So it's a bit of a calmer affair now, slight calmer affair at the front, but it allows us to watch in with some of the other drivers who are producing some of the action. Because remember, the thing is, all these battles count in the end. They all count in the end, and it is every position matters for the overall class. So even if it's sometimes for 7th or 8th, it might have big reward on the other side if a driver is able to make a move. So it is the way things work slightly when you have a multi-class system. Of course, you've always got the overall win, which is always very exciting to see, but then you've got the overall, you've got the Pro Championship, of course, which is the main one, and then the Pro-Am, and then you've got the Am class as well. So you've got 3 different classes, and you know, right now all 3 are closed, so it's very exciting and great to watch. Okay, this was some of the battling that was going on a few moments ago. This was Zayan Intaz. So he made the move, got up the inside. He was the one getting up the inside, and then he was the one getting shunted off a few moments on. That's the way sometimes racing can work. In a space of a couple of moments. That's just how things work. You are watching the Slipstream Esports Championship. I am your commentator, Omi, and you are looking at 15 great drivers in the field who are entertaining us at Zandvoort right now. This is our 4th race out of 6. We have 2 visits to Spa coming up in a week's time. One on Thursday, and then we'll be bringing you the race on Friday to crown our tournament winners. We'll be crowning, of course, not just a Pro class winner, but the Pro-Am and the Am classes, as I mentioned too. So there is a lot to look forward to then. Let's see how things are going to play out. So we're jumping back over to our leaders. Shadman Sadiq, Tamjid bin Sultan and Abir Ahmad. They're all 3 now separated by 1 second. And the gap is getting really close between them all. So the gap and the battle is very much back on. So we had a few moments of calmness, and then it's all kind of erupted once again, and they're all very much in close proximity and close running to one another. It means at no point around this circuit can you rest. And what I mean by rest is, you know, just casually turn the wheel, or take a few corners a bit more relaxed in the seat. No, it is full tension, it's full push. Oh, Shadman Sadiq off into the grass, and that is going to cost him time. And the driver, who is 2nd place right now in the Pro Class Championship, looking to try and overtake his rival for the title, and now he's got 2 seconds ahead to try and get to them after a mistake and a wide moment. Luckily, it wasn't more dramatic than that. Bit of a shame for Shadman Sadiq there. Yeah, I mean, out of the 3 classes, it is the furthest one apart. So, you know, they've got to try and make a move. They've got the fastest lap of this race, but they need to try and get back onto this battle and beat Sultan. And it's not the best news when Sultan is on course possibly to maybe even take the lead himself, because the gap is 4 tenths. We have waited a couple of moments. We waited this entire race, really, after the opening lap of the race. We waited to see whether we'd get any overtake for the lead. It is not appeared to be the case, as a wide moment there for Nabi Nirad. Zayan and Intaz making their way through into the braking zone, and that was a half-attempted move and a half-attempted look there, as we're about to possibly see a move, but it didn't quite come in, did it? But sometimes the drivers do that because they want to loom large in the mirrors. They want to put the pressure in. You know, when you just are there trying to appear with the inside, sometimes you can frighten your rival off the road. They're just running deep, and then the road opens up for you, and it can work out quite nicely. An old textbook racing tactic, which, you know, has been at play for years and years and years and years. If there's not a clear way through, just stay on the back and try force a mistake out of your rival and try and create your opportunity to go through. This is Abdullah Ayaz, one of the drivers who ran quite highly, we have to say, last time out in the race at Paul Ricard, the second race of the round, which of course we didn't broadcast to you, but yeah, it was great to see them running up high in contention. We'll not be bringing you the next race at Spa, race number 5, but we will be bringing you the season finale, as I mentioned, in the 6th race of the season, and that is going to be, of course, taking place at Spa Francorchamps, which is an absolutely fantastic and extraordinary circuit for this type of racing, and we will be excitingly waiting for that to crown our champions. Off the road, Ishraq Rahman makes an error, and exactly what we were mentioning a few moments ago. If there's no way by, stay on the back and try force a mistake out of your rival. And that is exactly what Abdullah Ayaz has done, and they've got past Ishraq Rahman at long last. There you go, people. That's why I was talking about it, and that's why, you know, I was mentioning it in that way. We've got a change of the lead. Change of lead at the front of the field. Tamjid bin Sultan hits the front, and the championship leader in the pro class is going to further extend his advantage as it stands, because he's now hit the front and taken P1. And after waiting for about 25 minutes to see the overtake, it finally arrives with under 20 minutes to go in the race, and our pole sitter retakes the lead at the front of the field. And now Abir Ahmad has to look in the mirrors because Shadman Sadiq is right there and waiting for the opportunity to try and pounce as well. They're having to go through some traffic. Now that's not going to be helping completely, and you can see it kind of cost them time, and that's going to leave all out of shape for Abir Ahmad, and they're under big pressure. This is a vital move for Shadman Sadiq to make. Pulls to the outside line. Their rival for the Pro Class Championship is pulling further up the road while they are stuck, and this is not what they want at all. Shadman Sadiq needs to get through as soon as possible to try and put some pressure on the driver ahead. But my word, a big moment, and we mentioned how pivotal this could be in terms of the championship. Is this the moment where Tamjid bin Sultan begins to possibly get a hand closer to putting a full hand on the championship trophy? Because at this rate, it very much looks like it could be. Oh, car off in the background. As we still focus on Shadman Sadiq, understandably, because this could be a big move and we don't want to miss it. Sorry for missing the lead change that we had, but of course we were focusing on some of the other battling going on, but we don't want to really miss this move now. Shadman Sadiq on the back of Abir Ahmad as they stand on the power. The gap is 2 seconds now between first and second. I don't know whether it was an error or whether it was just a sudden overtake that Tamjid bin Sultan was able to pull to take the lead. I'm not sure as to what it was, but whatever was the case. He's taken the lead and he's got a 2.4 second advantage to Abir Ahmad, and Shadman Sabik, the driver who he's fighting with, needs to get by. Can he make the critical move? Can he be late on the brakes? Can he be as late as he was on the opening lap? He's not being able to get there, and Circuit Zandvoort continuing to prove to be a tricky challenge to make overtakes for drivers. Not ideal so far, is it? Not ideal one bit. If your name is Shadman Sabik, possibly seeing this championship get harder and harder to get grasps onto. Absolutely fantastic racing we have had, and some very close running and a competitive battle all the way through. Driver in the BMW battling up against another BMW, similar liveries as well. You've got the stripe in the middle for Shadman Sabik, and of course a few different differences, but in terms of the main colour scheme, from the front rear they've kept it the same. For the back, of course, it differs as well. Yes, both in those BMWs, both looking to try and get some good results. This is going to do wonders for Abir Ahmad, because he came into this P6 in the championship, so he's going to be able to improve and further move up the order. But my word, would he have loved to hang on to the win. He was doing it for so long, and then the moment fell away right near the end. As they make their way through. Brilliant sounds as they go uphill, downhill. It's just the way Circuit Zandvoort works. It really is a constant roller coaster adventure for the drivers each and every lap. Okay, this is a very good exit. This is the best chance that Shadman Sabik has had. Can he place the car on the outside? This is brave for the driver, trying to make the move. Can he get the cut back? Good line taken through there. He's setting himself up brilliantly for a possible attack down the start-finish straight, but that's been hard so far. He's flashing the headlight. We've seen it so many times by the real-life GT3 drivers, and we're seeing it right here. The banking, so important. Keep your foot flat to the floor. Abir Ahmad is going to be under serious pressure. Can Shadman Sabik make the move? It would be a big move. It would be a major move. Can he get to the inside line? And Abir Ahmad closes the door but runs in deep, and Shadman Sabik stands on the power, and they're very nearly making contact. Very nearly contact between second and third, and Tamjid bin Sultan is loving life at the front as these two battle away. And Shadman Sabik does not need this for the championship. He needs to easily be through for second, and he would have loved an attack for the win, but I don't think it's going to happen today. So he's going to be losing points at this rate. So Shadman Sabik is going to be losing points to Tamjid bin Sultan, who will extend his lead, and it will mean that Shadman Sabik will have an even bigger task to try and close the gap in two final races on Thursday and Friday next week. So, we are side by side. Ali Arman and Ashfika Rahman as well. Dueling it out, battling it out. Very much going into, I guess, a bit of a tug of war, aren't they, in terms of this battle. But let's go back over to Shadman Sabik. Is this finally the moment They've been so close on so many occasions, and they were pushing it out of the final corner. And this time around, Abir Ahmad is defending the middle of the road, covering the inside line. Can Sadiq go all the way around the outside? Can he be late on the brakes? The two, side by side, through Tarzan corner, and Abir Ahmad will hang on with a better line. Sadiq tried to get the cut back, but he couldn't get there. And second and third remain in formation for now. Whatever Shadman Sadiq does, Abir Ahmad has the response. Brilliant. Box office GT3 racing in front of your eyes. Shadman Sadiq trying to reduce the loss of points deficit that he's going to have to Sultan. And he's trying to move up to second, but it's proving to be such a hard task. Trying a different alternative racing line to get there. He's trying to compromise his rival's line and go in for a tighter line for a better exit. It's not working yet. It is not working yet. 4 seconds and out of the front. Can Sadiq go all in? We're heading back to Tarzan corner very shortly. We've got a straight to go through. What is the grip looking like out of the final few corners? Is it good traction? Oh, I mean, it's been closer than that before. Unless there's a mistake from Abir Ahmad out of the final corner, there's not going to be a shot. Yeah, too far back. Too far back, everyone. That will not be a chance. And they will be in formation down into turn one. And no switch, no move on this lap. .5 of a second with 10 minutes to go. Our winner, we've got an idea of who could that be. We have an idea of who could be on the podium. We don't know in what order. I mean, I wouldn't even say there's a guarantee of them being on the podium because they've been so close to contact that Abdullah Ayaz and Ishraq Rahman would absolutely love to take their positions if they continue to get super tight to each other. This, I feel, I mean, we've had some great fighting. Remember, we've had some great fighting so far. But this has to be definitely one of my favourite battles that we've had so far in the Slipstream Esports Championship. The entire battle for the win, we didn't really get to see Sadiq and Sultan go wheel to wheel. Hopefully that'll be coming your way next time out at Spa. But right now, Shadman Sadiq and Abir Ahmad both producing the goods for us on the circuit. And it's for such different reasons. Abir Ahmad, a driver who doesn't have the most points, looking to do his championship good. And right now, Shadman Sadiq has finally got the inside line. He's being squeezed to the pit wall. And is this finally the moment for him to try and take second place? Late braking into turn number one. And surely Abir Ahmad will not make the corner. And Shadman Sadiq will go through and up to second place. It was very tight into Tarzan. And it will mean that Shadman Sadiq will take second place. Finally, at long last, with 9 minutes to go, Abir Ahmad, who was once the leader of this race, now finds himself in P3. But Shadman Sadiq at least will now reduce the points deficit. They will reduce the points deficit that they will lose out to Tamjid bin Sultan. They will lose out still, but just to a reduced amount because they've improved a position now. So at least it still keeps them in the game. I mean, it's not ideal. It's not ideal because what? The gap is right now. The gap right now is, if I can do maths, it's 7.5 points right now. It's going to be increased further. And then you've got 2 races to go. We will see what will happen on Thursday at Spa. And we'll be back with you on Friday for the championship decider. So Spa will be very critical in terms of race 1 and race 2. Let's take a look at a replay of when the moment finally arrived. It was a very compromised line for Abir Ahmad. He had no grip really off the corner. Shadman Sadiq right over to the pit wall, found the gap on the inside line. Abir Ahmad knew he had to be latest on the brakes, and it was far too late, and it was always going to be a trip through into the gravel trap. My word, what a fight between them. But Shadman Sadiq gets there and takes the position. Now there's 7 minutes to go. Unless he's to have the greatest laps of his life, I think it will be Sultan who will be home the winner. Unless there's any late drama. The man in your picture made the move. We don't know how. We didn't get to see it, unfortunately, but he did make the move. And then what he's done is he's pulled away after that. And Tamjid bin Sultan proving exactly why he is your championship leader in the pro class. And is going to be extending his advantage just that little bit more. The sounds of engines continuing to roar in the final minutes of the only race that we have at Zandvoort. This is round number 3, but it is race number 4 of our campaign. We'll have a double header at Spa to crown a tournament winner of the Pro class, the Pro Am, and the Am class. And we'll see who will be taking the trophies home from Season 1 of the Slipstream Esports Championship. What a battle, though, that was. That is a battle and a half. And the move, the overtake moment, it was a big moment because of how long Shadman Sadiq had waited for the moment and how long Abir Ahmad was brilliant with his defense for. And then it all fell apart at that moment. With 5 minutes and 20 seconds to go, it is now a case of the drivers just bringing it home. And to be fair, Shadman Sadiq is giving it his all to try and take all the time he can out of Sultan, but I don't think it's going to be enough. I mean, I say that it's dropping down to 3 seconds, unless, as I said, he is to have the greatest laps of his life in the final 5 minutes. I think Tamjid will just be safe and home. Remember, there is no +1 lap in this race, so on the lap it ticks down to 0, that is the final lap. That is the way things work. So, we will tick down to 0, and that will be the final tour. This is, though, we've had 24 laps, we'll continue to extend that in the final minutes, but yeah, it will be a race that will very much be one that we'll remember as possibly, maybe it was the turning point, who knows. We'll only be able to give you the answer in a few moments, in a few rounds, sorry, in the final round, I should say. But right now, it's super close for fourth. So this will be the battle that we'll keep an eye on. But yes, the championship battle in the final 2 rounds. We'll see how it all goes. I'd also like to wish everyone a happy race week. I'd like to take the moment to wish everyone that Formula 1 is back this weekend, so is Formula 2 and Formula 3 at Albert Park in Melbourne. So for anyone who's watching that one, it is great to have that back. And hopefully you will all enjoy that. You've got the Formula 3 sprint race coming up in a couple of hours' time from Australia. And then the F2 sprint along with F1, FP3 and F1 qualifying. A lot coming your way from Albert Park. So hopefully you all enjoy the action in Melbourne if you are keeping an eye. As I'm sure many of you will, all of the viewers on the Formula 1. But I'm sure we've hopefully kept you entertained across this evening. And then we'll let the real-life drivers do it in Melbourne very, very shortly. Okay. Ishraq Rahman. Can they try and produce something to make an overtake. I have to say, Shadman Sabik is on it and then some. The gap is 1.8 seconds. Is there a late twist in this race still somehow to come? I didn't think it was possible, but Shadman Sabik is bringing the gap down at a major rate. He's still got to get onto the back and then make the move, and I think that might just be a little bit too much in 2 minutes and 20 seconds. But Shadman Sabik has really got on with things. Either that, or Tamjid bin Sultan has just relaxed a little bit and knows he'll be home safely, but the gap has come down very, very quickly, and we'll see how things are going to unfold, but there will surely need to be only, I think, an error now for Tamjid bin Sultan. But had there been a couple more minutes, Shadman Sabik really would have had a chance. As I said, unless we're going to get the greatest and latest ever shock that we've ever seen, I think Sultan has got this. But never say never. It is not over until it is over! Oh! Ishraq Rahman spins! And that is a dramatic moment for them. The driver who was trying to chase down Abdullah Ayaz. There goes Sambit Jawan, and these two will continue the battling. But Ishraq Rahman, who was looking to set up the line to try and make an overtake, instead will lose a place, and they drop down to 6th position. And that is a shame. That is a shame for Ishraq Rahman. The gap is under a second at the front of the field. You've got 1 minute on the clock to go, and the gap is 0.8 of a second into the first turn. It is really, really close, and this has come out of absolutely nowhere. It's come out of thin air, and somehow there is a chance, somehow there is an opportunity on the final lap of the race, Shadman Sabik to take it away. Absolutely extraordinary. A lap time around here is 1 minute 37. We've got 30 seconds to go. This is the final lap of the race, and Shadman Sabik needs to somehow make the move in places that we've not seen anyone do it so far. I cannot believe that he's been able to get this close. The top two in the championship going for it, and Shadman Sabik is right there. Can he go all in? Can he send the car in to make a late move and to bring himself closer to the championship lead heading into the final round, the final 2 races of the season? We've only got a couple of corners to go. Shadman Sabik slides as he tries to get on the power. Sultan under major pressure, but he's doing enough at the moment. Brings it through into the chicane. Very nicely taken. Shadman Sabik is there. Any error is going to be punished, and the lap car is going to get in the way, and that would not have helped Shadman Sabik, and I think Sultan's going to be home due to it. The clock is at 0. Shadman Sabik has had the best laps of his life, quite literally. He's brought down a gap in a couple of minutes, but it will not be enough, and Sultan will see the checkered flag, and he will extend his championship lead in the pro class. It is Tamjid bin Sultan who wins at Zandvoort, and he beats home Shadman Sabik in a brilliant fight between the title protagonists, and we will see you at Spa for a battle that will go down all the way till the end. What a championship fight we have coming up, and Shadman Sabik, driving near the end, has proven that this one is going the distance in Season 1. Abir Ahmad is in 3rd position, Abdullah Ayaz 4th, Ishraq Rahman hangs on up against Sambit Jaman, P5 and P6. It will be the flag for NASA, P7. What a race, and I cannot believe we got so close. We got so close to seeing the battle very much change. The context of the battle very much changed heading into the final 2 rounds. But that was absolutely fantastic. It's quite frankly what you want, isn't it, from a race? As the crowd enjoy themselves. So, Ashrika Rahman takes the checkered flag in 12th position. Zubair Zaman getting on with the donuts in celebration after an absolutely fantastic race. What a event. What a season it has been so far. We will go racing. We will go racing at Spa. So we will go racing at Spa, everyone. And when we go racing at Spa, we will have the first race not broadcasted, but we will bring you all up to date on Friday next week. This time next week, we would have crowned a champion. We will be, hopefully, seeing a fantastic first race, and then it can leave us set with the championship all close across all three classes, and it can hopefully leave us in a brilliant position come the final round. Okay, well, my thanks to the entire team here at Slipstream Esports for another brilliant event, and a huge thank you to the drivers for putting on a show as per normal. Zandvoort has left us in an interesting position in the context of the championship, with 2 races to go. 1 round, it is absolutely game on to see who will be crowned our champion. But from Zandvoort, it is goodbye.